The House. Mr. Sunderland.
Mr Deputy Speaker, as the dutiful backbencher that I am, I answered the call of the whips and wrote about an hour's worth of speech. But with your blessing, I will restrict my remarks to about 5 minutes and just want to make some mark. For me, this is the bill I suspect that none of us wanted. But as a pragmatic Conservative, I do concede the fiscal imperative. And what's really important for me is that as the party of fiscal pragmatism, this is the right thing to do for the Conservative Party and for the country right now. I see it, however, as a short-term necessity. I don't see this as a long-term bill. And what we need to be doing is putting our country back on track and essentially steadying the economic ship. Fiscal and economic security must be the foundation of all policy, and I believe that this bill does that. I don't want to hark back to the previous mini-budget, the ill-fated mini-budget, but it recognised the basic premise that governments do not create wealth. Businesses and working people create wealth. Therefore, we have to incentivise them to work harder and to create more wealth, which ultimately represents economic growth. So as a low-tax, low-state Conservative, what I want to see is a low-tax, low-state economy that attracts investment, incentivises growth, rewards workers so that they can keep most of what they earn, and also ensure that we all enjoy a meaningful standard of living through rising wages. But I do accept that inflation and borrowing and debt are the elephants in the room. I was going to talk to the bill very briefly, but there are a few points I want to make on the clauses, if I may. First of all, clause 1, 2 and 3 in respect of the Profits Levy Act, I think is the right thing to do, to increase from 25 to 35% in terms of that levy. But I'd much rather our oil companies pass on their profits to the consumer at the pump and not to their shareholders. I think that's an absolute no-brainer. And I'll ask the government to make sure that they keep the pressure on these oil producers to make sure that the money goes to where it needs to go. In terms of clauses 5 and 6 of income tax, I just don't like the fact that the thresholds are being kept where they are. I think it's really important that with rising wages, working people should be keeping more of what they earn. However, I can live with it for the reasons that have been outlined earlier on. And the same principles also apply to the dividend rate and also capital gains tax. We've got to incentivise people to work harder. We've got to incentivise them to save, incentivise them to try and derive extra income from what they do. So again, I would urge the ministers, please, to review those particular measures in due course, along with the income tax thresholds. And my last point on the clauses is that I'm just a bit concerned about the vehicle excise duty. I completely understand why we may need to bring that in line with diesel and high emission cars, but of course we need to incentivise the drive to net zero at the same time. So again, that measure I think is worthy of review in due course. Very briefly on Bracknell, which I'm very proud to serve. Bracknell, of course, is the Silicon Valley of the Thames Valley. We've got 150 international companies with offices in Bracknell, plus a lot of SMEs. Bracknell, in my view, is the archetypal borough where people benefit from low taxes. And again, in deference to my constituents, those who are working really, really hard to put food on the table, I would just urge the government also to make sure that this is seen as a short-term measure, not a long-term measure. And lastly, I recognise, of course, the predicament that we find ourselves in right now. After all, the government did borrow an additional £450 billion to look after people in the UK during the pandemic. That was to put food on the table and to support people. And it stands to reason that money has to come back into the Treasury. But with the ministers in their place, I want to make a macro point, and it's a really important point. We do need to have a conversation, a discussion, as a government, as a country, as to what the future holds for the UK. We are currently living beyond our means. We are writing cheques that we cannot cash. So we need a serious discussion as a nation as to what we want in this country, for this country and for our people. What are we going to do in the future? And I therefore would commend again to the Treasury that we do need a grand strategic strategy that allows us an intent that allows us to work out where we're going in the future, because I think that will drive policy. And I also want to see the tax reduced at the earliest opportunity, not least to encourage growth and to ensure that the UK remains firmly competitive internationally. And this, I'm afraid, Mr Deputy Speaker, is a political imperative to ensure that the great in Great Britain stays great. Thank you.
And following this last